Good afternoon to you. It is 3 p.m. here in Nairobi, East African time. Good morning, good evening, depending on where you're tuned in and watching us from. The show is Diaspora Dispatches, where I get to bring you up to date with the latest news from across the continent of Africa. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and as usual, it is a pleasure to have you on board. We start our bulletin this afternoon from Nigeria. And police in Nigeria say they're tracking down gunmen who killed at least 12 people, including a pregnant woman and her 4 children in the southeastern state of Anambra. The police have blamed the increased violence in the region on Biafra separatists. Several other people are also shot dead in separate incidents on Sunday evening. Police say they are still investigating. Now, the killings have sparked outrage on social media. This happened a day after mutilated bodies of local politician and his aide were discovered a week after they were abducted. And then we head over to South Africa, and the South African official who approved a permanent resident status to a controversial Malawian pastor, Shepherd Bushiri, has been dismissed. The sacking came after a disciplinary process that took nearly a year. Ronnie Mahule was found guilty of misconduct and non-compliance with immigration laws for issuing permits to Mr. Bushiri's family that they did not deserve, the Department of Home Affairs said. The self-proclaimed prophet Bushiri and his wife Mary faced fraud charges in South Africa but fled the country to Malawi after being granted bail. A warrant of arrest was issued and an extradition hearing against them has been ongoing in a Malawi court. And then we head over to Tanzania, where a Tanzania member of parliament, angered by poor conditions of roads in his constituency, turned the parliament into circus on Monday with a handstand on the microphone rouse. Flatei Masai, the member of parliament from Mbulu constituencies in northern Tanzania, was commenting on budget estimates when he called on the government to fulfill its pledge to construct a 100-kilometer tarmac road in his constituency. He said the promise had been ignored in the last 3 budgets and the handstand was meant to draw the attention of the authorities. Mr. Masai is a member of the ruling CCM party and has on many occasions put his acrobatic skills on display. In September 2018, he somersaulted in front of vehicles handed over by the Ministry of Tourism for the protection of wild animals against poaching. And then we head over to Sudan, where the United Mission in Sudan has expressed a disappointment over Sudan's refusal to renew the residence visa of one of its senior staff members. Rosalind Marsden, a former UK ambassador and EU representative to Sudan, left the country after the authorities failed to renew her visa. UNITAM said the decision is unfortunate, especially given the recent request of the Sudanese authorities for UNITAM and its partners to devote more attention to support for peace building and mobilizing resources for many priority activities. In the past few months, Sudan has been at loggerheads with UNITAM over the mission's reporting on human rights violations in the country. And then we head over to Niger. The president of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum, has hailed military cooperation with Germany as a blueprint for other countries following a meeting in the capital Niamey with the visiting German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Mr. Bazoum welcomed Germany's decision to extend an operation to train Niger's special forces to combat jihadists. Mr. Scholz met soldiers stationed in the west of the country and said the security situation was serious. Niger has taken on a bigger role hosting European special forces following the deterioration of relations with the military junta in neighboring Mali. The German Chancellor in a 3-day visit to Africa, which includes Senegal, Niger and South Africa. He is on a 3-day visit to Africa. Okay, now we head over back to Sudan, and the United States has issued an advisory warning American companies and individuals from doing business with Sudanese state-owned and military-controlled companies. It said that there was a reputational risk of doing business with this company amid deterioration in the human rights situation in Sudan. The State Department said that while some of these risks were there before the October last year's coup, the military takeover and their actions had made the situation worse. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said the U.S. government remained committed to supporting the Sudanese people's aspiration for a civilian-led transition to an elected government. And then we go to Rwanda, where the Rwandan army says that several civilians have been injured in cross-border shelling by troops from the Democratic Republic of Congo. It said it had asked a regional team of military observers the expanded joint verification mechanism to conduct an urgent investigation. Tensions between the two countries have increased since March, when the M23 rebel groups attacked two Congolese army positions. Rwanda denies accusation that it supports the rebels. Now, the group seized territory in eastern DR Congo during an insurrection in 2012 and 2013 before its fighters were driven out by the Congolese and the United Nations forces. Many families have left their homes in the DR Congo's North Kivu province, heading for the Ugandan border town of Bunagana. The head of the UN Refugee Agency in Uganda, Joel Botru, told the BBC several thousand refugees arrived in Uganda on Monday. And then we go to Somalia. Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, the newly elected president of Somalia, assumed office yesterday, a week after he was voted in by members of parliament. Outgoing President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo handed over power to Mr. Mohamud at Villa Somalia, the presidential palace in the capital Mogadishu, in a ceremony that was broadcasted live on state television. Also in attendance were the Senate and lower house speakers, as well as the armed forces. The official inauguration, however, is yet to come. This is expected in June. Mr. Farmajo urged Somalis to work with the new president, and Mr. Mahmoud has promised to focus on security, national reconciliation and debt relief during his first days in office. It marks a comeback for Mr. Mahmoud, who served as Somali's president between 2012 and 2017 before being defeated by Mr. Farmajo. And then we go to Tunisia, where the main labor union in Tunisia has said it will hold a national strike calling for wage increase as the cost of living rises. It comes a day after the UGTT refused to participate in a limited dialogue proposed by President Kais Saied to study ideas for political economic reform. The union has more than 1 million members and remains a powerful political force in Tunisia. President Saied has ruled by decree for almost a year, saying that it's necessary to save Tunisia from political crisis. His opponents accuse him of staging a coup. And then we go to South Sudan, where the findings of the investigation committee on the intercommunal clashes in Anet reveal that two prominent personalities, among them others, have fueled the Twig-Ngok conflict. In a 94-page report seen by iRadio, the committee found that publications written by Bona Malual and BA intellectuals, including Dr. Francis Mading Deng, fueled the conflict. Dr. Francis Mading Deng is former South Sudan ambassador to the United Nations and a native of Abyei administrative area, while Bona Malual Madut is a veteran South Sudanese politician from Twig Mayardit County of Warab State. Also in the report, the committee established that the survey initiated by Abyei Special Administrative Area is the root cause of the conflict. It noted that the SSPDF in Majok, Kol and Ramkur barracks failed to contain the situation, which led to insecurity that resulted in the loss of lives and properties. This, according to the committee, is because the soldiers had identified themselves with their communities. It also observed that the presence of UNISFA on the ground limited the role of SSPDF in providing security in the area, especially in Abyei. In its findings, the committee says UNISFA also failed to carry out its duties of protecting the civilians as mandated by the Status of Force Agreement, or SOFA. And we head back to Sudan, and as we speak, thousands of protesters took to the streets of Sudanese capital, Khartoum, and its twin city of Omdurman yesterday and today to denounce the October military coup that plunged the country into further turmoil. The latest demonstration is another in a long string of protests following the coup, which derailed the country's transition to democratic rule. Riot police fired tear gas at protesters in Omdurman, while confrontations took place between the security forces and protesters in some neighborhoods. Protesters carried flags, banged instruments and chanted slogans while marching on the city streets. On Saturday, a 20-year-old protester was allegedly killed by a cartridge weapon and security forces used against the protesters near the house of the former Prime Minister Ismail Arazil in Omdurman. I'm sorry, the name of that city is a bit of tongue twister for me. And we end this bulletin from Uganda, and opposition politician and political activist Kizza Besigye on Tuesday eluded security operatives stationed at his home in Kasangati, Wakiso district, and made his way downtown Kampala before he was intercepted at Arua Park. This is the fourth time this year that Dr. Besigye is being arrested over his renewed protest over the skyrocketing price of essential commodities. On Monday, he was prevented from leaving his home area, while on May 12th, police were successful in preventing him from reaching the city center, where he planned to address supporters. The former Forum for Democratic Change FDC president on Tuesday arrived in the city center and was greeted by cheering, with a growing crowd almost bringing business to a standstill. He arrived in the city center with megaphones mounted on his car, calling on people to wake up and protest the skyrocketing commodity prices and what he described as the stupid succession birthday. Okay. So that is the end of the news this afternoon. I think Kizza Besigye is referring to that elaborate, magnificent, birthday, 48th birthday that General Muhoozi, President Museveni's son, had maybe 3 weeks or 1 month ago. Thereabout, I can't remember the exact date, but it was quite a spectacle that even major roads around the city were blocked because the president's son was having a birthday, and it was like a national celebration of some sort. So I would understand why Kizza Besigye would call it a stupid succession birthday. I think it is the birthday party that he's referring to, but he took a megaphone and he went around to saying this. He knew this would not end up very well, and I think Besigye is at it. And the reason perhaps why he's saying this stupid succession birthday, I think this is in reference to Muhoozi, no doubt. And the succession part, there have been some rumors, I think even in one of our papers today, it had this story. Let me perhaps just take us there and see, yes, on page 13 on the Standard newspaper. On March 8th, 2022, Uganda politics was sent into a spin by 49 words tweeted by President Yoweri Museveni's only son. Oh, he's the only son. I didn't know that. General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. The tweet announced Muhoozi's retirement from the Ugandan People's Defense Forces, which he had formerly served in since 1999. Since his most recent promotion in June 2021, he has served as the commander of the land forces. So he tweeted that he was leaving army. And if you know anything about the disciplined forces, that is not how you resign. You don't go and tweet that I'm leaving the Kenya Army today, or I'm leaving the Ugandan People Defense Forces today. That is not how army works. There is a very clear protocol. If you want to leave the forces, the armed forces, there's a protocol that you follow if you want to leave before your retirement. But the audacity, I guess, of President Museveni's son can be seen, and the level of special treatment, and I think it's just eyeing a few people the wrong way, as it should. And so he tweeted that he wanted to leave. You don't tweet, you resign. You formally write to the commander, to the office they're supposed to write to, not to the commander. Okay, that will be your father, but still, there is a protocol if you want to leave army. There's a clear protocol. You don't tweet about it, okay? Because there's a reason why it is a disciplined force. Things are done in a particular manner. But Muhoozi has been very unorthodox in the manner in which he has been acting. Still, he did not resign. He's still there. He's been acting very unorthodox while still sitting and holding this position as a general in the Ugandan army. So that has raised a bit of some eyebrows. So according even to this story on the Standard newspaper, Muhoozi, and this is not the first time we've heard about it, there's probably a succession plan going on. And I think President Museveni is tired now. I don't see him running again for another term. But he's being, he's being prepared to take over after his father, and I think that is not secret at all. So that is what I think Kizza Besigye was referring to when he was talking about that stupid succession birthday. If you see the dignitaries who were invited for this birthday, even President Paul Kagame of Rwanda was invited to this birthday, and others. So just tells you the kind of aura, the kind of treatment that he's getting, and the kind of pedestal that he's been put. This person is getting ready to be the president of Uganda. So that is what we are seeing happening here, and perhaps that is what Kizza Besigye was referring to when he was saying, this stupid succession birthday party. But anyway, it looked like a state function, that birthday party that took place a couple of, weeks ago. So anyway, yeah, it took place on April 20th. And supporters wore T-shirts with slogans such as Muhonzi K is our next president and things like that. So it was not even like a birthday party. It was like a political rally come birthday party or something like that. So that is what Kizza Besigye is saying. But, obviously protesting in Uganda, especially for him, that is a lost cause. And he was able to evade the police. Yesterday he tried to protest. On Sunday he tried to protest. He was arrested even yesterday. And I don't know how today he evaded the police and made his way to the city, and he was arrested. And there were a good crowd that had already gathered to hear what he had to say. And of course, he's protesting the skyrocketing commodity prices. We talked about this yesterday, so I'll not get into the details of it. And so I think that is that. And I wouldn't want to get too much into a lot of these stories. I'm sure a lot of them are easy to understand. I think a lot of them, our viewers are quite familiar with what is happening. The Rwandan army says several civilians have been injured in cross-border shelling by troops from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, so that is a problem, and I think this is something that we also been talking about. And Kote Juma, you're saying you're watching from Sudan, the Nuba Mountains. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. And there's a problem between Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, which has to be solved. Should this the East African community had agreed, because now the Democratic Republic of Congo has joined the East African Community bloc. So this is something that has to be treated with priority, and the leadership of this bloc must address the issues, the continued issues of insecurity between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. And now Rwandan army is saying, that the DRC might have injured some of its citizens. So this acrimony has to be addressed, if at all, so that it does not spill over to the rest of the states in this bloc. It is something that has been there for quite a while now. And of course, the DRC is accusing Rwanda of backing the M23 rebels. And these M23 rebels were formed after the 1994 genocide. The Tutsis that ran and went into the DR, and then when they were there, they formed these militia groups, and they've been fighting the DRC from they've been fighting Rwanda from inside the DRC. So I don't know how they ended up now fighting being used to fight the DRC, apparently. So it's all that. So it's a lot going on that I think needs to be addressed as far as the security of these two countries is concerned, and as far as the East African Community bloc is concerned, so that this does not spill over to the rest of the issues that we have in this bloc. Okay, so thank you so much for your time this afternoon. This has been Diaspora Dispatches. My name is Miriam Ogutu. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon or your day. I'll see you perhaps tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye for now.